so she said, "Dad, I know what happened to Aliayah, and she's dead."
Shocking details released for the first time today in the disappearance of 3-year-old Aliayah Lunsford. It is a case that sparked national attention, and today the trial against that little girl's mother got underway. That is first tonight here at 6. The trial against Lena Lunsford started this morning in Weston.
Opening arguments included new evidence and disturbing testimony about the moments witnesses say led up to Aliayah's death nearly 7 years ago. Aliayah was last seen alive on September 24th, 2011. She vanished from her home in the Bendale area just outside of Weston in Lewis County. Lena Lunsford was arrested down in Florida in November 2016.
Lewis County deputies say Lunsford killed Aliayah by striking her in the head with a handheld object. Lunsford is also accused of instructing others to lie about what happened to her daughter and to not get her any help.
Aliayah is presumed dead, but her body has never been found. Lena Lunsford faces 4 charges, including murder. Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Rubin has been on top of this case from the very beginning. She has the latest tonight from the courtroom.
Bombshell details coming out today in court, details that everyone has been waiting for since Lena Lunsford's arrest more than a year ago for her daughter Aliayah's murder, more than 5 years after she first went missing. We now know that Lena's then 9-year-old daughter is the one who came forward in 2016 and told police she saw her mother hit Aliayah in the head with a broken bed slab. She says Aliayah wasn't able to stand on her own after that and was forced to stay in the corner. She says her and her older sister, who was 11 at the time, put Aliayah to bed that night, but the next morning she was unresponsive. She says Lunsford put Aliayah's body in a laundry basket, put other clothes on top of her, and then drove to a remote area of Vedas in Lewis County. She told the court that she watched her mother take that laundry basket into the woods and return without Aliayah's body. That girl is now 15 years old and says she was scared her mother would hurt her for telling the truth, even recalling her asking her and her sister to make a promise to mommy to never tell. The girl's adoptive father says she told him on the way home from a church function in October of 2016 what had happened.
And so she said, "Dad, I know what happened to Aliayah, and she's dead." And I said, "What?" And she said, "I know what happened to Aliayah, and she's dead."
This trial is expected to last 2 weeks. The defense today asked the jury to keep an open mind throughout the process. If convicted, Lunsford faces life in prison. For now, reporting in Weston in Lewis County, Leslie Rubin, Eyewitness News.
Jury is now deliberating in the murder trial of Lena Lunsford. She's accused of killing her 3-year-old daughter back in 2011.
It's day 6 of the trial being called the biggest case in Lewis County history. Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Rubin has been following this story, every development of it, for more than 6 years now. She joins us now with more.
Jurors started deliberating this case around 3 o'clock this afternoon after hearing from 2 defense witnesses this morning. Now, the defense called just those 2 witnesses as Lena Lunsford's attorneys worked to cast reasonable doubt in the jurors' minds about the case and present different theories about what happened to the little girl. One theory involves Aliayah being sold to the Pagans motorcycle gang. A former Harrison County Sheriff's deputy testified that a suspect he had under arrest for DUI in 2015 said that he himself had purchased the child from the mother in Lewis County for a pound of what he called badly cut heroin and then took the girl to a home in Lumberport in Harrison County. The second witness, who worked at an IHOP in Louisiana, swears that she saw Aliayah with an older man last November and that the FBI never returned her calls. This case is relying almost solely on testimony from Lunsford's 2 daughters, who were 9 and 11 at the time, who came forward with their story that their mother had struck Aliayah in the head and then hid her body in the woods the following day. The prosecutor called the 2 girls brave young women who, despite being scared of their mother, told the jury what happened to their sister.
And she takes that child out to the middle of nowhere, the middle of woods. And Sergeant Loudon said, she disposes of Aliayah like she's a dog. Better yet, the dog would have been treated betterly than what she treated Aliayah. the way she disposed of that body.
The defense remained focused on the fact that the state does not have a body to prove cause of death, saying there wasn't a scintilla of scientific evidence that supports the daughter's story, saying that reasonable doubt in this case is undeniable. We will continue to keep you posted if the jury gets a verdict. For now, reporting in Weston, Leslie Rubin, Eyewitness News.
And we are continuing to follow breaking news just into our newsroom of a verdict handed down in the Lena Lunsford trial.
Let's get out to Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Rubin. She is live in Weston right now. She's been following this trial since it started last week. And just into our newsroom, Lena Lunsford was found guilty on 4 of those charges. Let's get out to Leslie right now with the latest.
Whitney, Lena Lunsford has been found guilty on all counts. She does face a possibility of life in prison for the death of her daughter, Aliayah, in 2011. I'm joined now by Tina. And Tina, I've been with you in this case. We've been talking to you since 2011 when Aliayah first went missing. You're just crying. Are these tears of joy? How do you feel right now?
It's just, I wanted justice for Aliayah. Nobody would speak up for Aliayah. We had to. It's not we cry on you or nothing. We want justice for Aliayah. Somebody had to speak up for her. And thank God that there will be justice, that Aliayah just did vanish. She had this happen to her. She was an innocent baby. She didn't deserve nothing. None of those kids deserved what they had to go through.
And Tina, you've told me since the beginning that you thought that Lena had something to do with this.
In my heart, I felt like she did. She just, you don't go around laughing and have no emotion like she has through all this. She has no emotion. She just acts like she didn't care. And an innocent baby.
Is there anything that you would say to Lena Lunsford right now?
Just why? What did you? I mean, you have so much family that would have taken her in a heartbeat. So many friends would have taken her in a heartbeat. Why? Just why? She didn't deserve it at all.
Tina, thank you for joining us. I know I just grabbed you in the last second, and this is just reaction coming down because it was just a few minutes ago that the jury came back with that verdict, guilty on all counts. That included murder of a child by failure to provide necessities, death of a child by child abuse resulting in serious injury, and concealment of a dead body. The jury will come back tomorrow at 10:30, and they will begin to decide whether or not Lena will receive mercy or no mercy on that murder charge. We're going to send it back to you all in the newsroom right now, but we will continue to stay on top of this case and let you know what the jury decides tomorrow. For now, reporting live in Weston, Leslie Rubin, Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Pure emotion there. They've been waiting on a verdict or some answers, really, for almost 7 years there and what happened to little Aliayah. Continuing coverage now, guilty on all counts. That is the decision today from a Lewis County jury after hearing 6 days of testimony in the Leah Lunsford murder trial. Lunsford now stands convicted of killing her 3-year-old daughter, Aliayah, in 2011 and then dumping her body in a remote area. The case sparked national attention when dozens of search crews scoured the county looking for any signs of the missing toddler who had seemingly vanished. Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Rubin has been following this developing story since the day Aliayah was reported missing 7 years ago.
And tonight, much more from outside the courtroom as sobs of joy could be heard minutes following the verdict in what is now considered the biggest case in Lewis County history.
Guilty of the offense of murder of a child by parent, guardian, or custodian.
Guilty on all 4 counts, charges that could send Lena Lunsford to prison for the rest of her life for killing her 3-year-old daughter.
She has no emotion. She just acts like she didn't care.
The jury hearing 6 days of testimony before coming to the decision in a little more than 2 hours. The star witnesses in the case, her own 2 daughters. The girls, just 9 and 11 years old at the time, telling the jury that their mother struck Aliayah in the head on the night of September 23, 2011, a night her husband said she was high on bath salts.
She goes and she gets this wood slide out of her room and she hits Aliayah over the head. And Aliayah staggers. And she can't get back up. She tries several times, but she can't get back up.
The next morning, Aliayah was dead. In a panic, Lunsford is said to have put the body in a clothes basket and drove miles away, discarding her daughter in the middle of the woods.
She disposes of Aliayah like she's a dog. Better yet, the dog would have been treated betterly than what she treated Aliayah.
The defense focusing their case on reasonable doubt, reminding jurors that the state had no body and no way to prove how Aliayah died. Their two witnesses taking the stand Monday. One, a former Harrison County deputy, who said a member of the Pagans motorcycle gang told him Aliayah was bought for a pound of drugs.
A pound of badly cut heroin.
Another, a waitress from Louisiana, testifying she was certain she saw Aliayah at an IHOP in November.
100%. There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever that this is that little girl.
Neither was enough to convince the jury that this mother was innocent.
Thank God that there will be justice, that Leah just did vanish.
In Weston, Leslie Rubin, Eyewitness News.
Continuing our coverage now of the Lena Lunsford murder trial. Today, a jury decided that Lunsford should never get out of prison for killing her little girl. It only took jurors about 20 minutes to return with that no mercy decision. Yesterday, they decided that Lunsford was guilty on all 4 counts, including murder. It was a case that hinged on testimony from 2 of Lunsford's daughters who were just children at the time of their sister's murder. Defense attorneys structured their case around the fact that Aliayah Lunsford's body has never been recovered, making it impossible to know for certain how she died or even if she was dead at all. It's not the first time a jury has convicted someone of murder without a body. In fact, a case right here in Kanawha County in the 80s bears remarkable similarities to the Lunsford case.
Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Rubin takes a look back at the Dianna Welker murder trial.
It was a cold February day in 1984 when Dianna Welker reported her 4-year-old daughter Patricia missing. Welker claimed to not know where her daughter was, but offered several explanations that all turned out to be false. After a search for the girl, she confessed to state police that she and her boyfriend David Atkins put her daughter's dead body in the Kanawha River.
At that time, Welker reportedly said the girl died of natural causes and that she and her boyfriend disposed of the body and reported her missing because they feared the appearance of murder.
Little Patricia's body was never found, a case that mirrors that of Lena Lunsford, now convicted of murdering her daughter, although Aliayah's remains have also never been recovered.
Welker, do you understand that you were charged with murder in the first degree?
Yes.
A jury found Welker guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced her to life. Testimony indicating she beat the 4-year-old to death the day before dumping her body in the river.
Dianna Welker had spanked or disciplined Patricia Welker rather severely prior to the child's death.
Well, how severely did he describe to you?
As I recall, he stated that white foam or some kind of matter had come out of the child's mouth and nose, that the child had been bruised up and had gone to bed not feeling well.
More striking resemblances to the Lunsford case, the child abuse, the story of the girls going to bed not feeling well, the mothers lying during frantic searches for their daughters.
Not guilty.
Very well, have a seat.
Welker appealed her murder conviction and won. The Supreme Court ruling the most serious error during trial was the court's refusal to admit testimony that could have found her innocent. But rather than face another trial, she pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. She was released from prison after serving less than 5 years. In Charleston, Leslie Rubin, Eyewitness News.
Lunsford's attorney indicated today that they do plan to appeal Lunsford's verdict. Now to an Eyewitness News exclusive. It is a case that captivated the state for years as people never stopped wondering what happened to 3-year-old Aliayah Lunsford.
Eventually, it was her older sisters who provided the big break in the case after carrying a dark secret for 5 long years. Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Rubin sat down exclusively with one of Aliayah's daughters about the driving force behind her stunning revelation.
Rick, Destiny Cole is 15 years old now, but when she was just 9, she watched her mother hit Aliayah in the head so hard she was dead the next morning. She also remembers watching her mother hide Aliayah's body in the woods, a secret she was made to promise to never tell.
She will be punished later. Even after she dies, she'll see the Creator, and she will have to take for account everything that she has done.
For more than 5 years, Destiny Cole lived in fear of her own mother.
I saw her react to different things and act different ways. It just, you knew what she was capable of doing.
Capable of killing her own daughter and expecting 2 of her other children to suffer in silence.
We kind of had some suspicions, but we just didn't know what exactly they knew.
Craig and Cammie Cole adopted Destiny and 5 of her siblings about a year after Aliayah disappeared. They soon learned their story, that their sister Aliayah Lunsford had vanished in September 2011. Her body had never been found, and no one knew what happened to the little girl.
I always thought that they were very loyal to Lena, wanting to protect her. But what I later found out was they were actually very scared of Lena, and that's why they were holding a secret. It was out of their fear, not loyalty.
In June of 2016, they got a call from investigators in Lewis County that Aliayah may be alive and had been sold to a motorcycle gang.
At this juncture, the police were chasing this lead that she had been kidnapped and we were going to find her, and I'd already set up a bed for her and a room for her, and we were praying for her to come and saying she's going to have a lot of brokenness and we're going to need to help her as she transitions, and we're going to find her.
But Destiny knew that wasn't true and was also in the midst of finding her faith and becoming closer to God. In October of that year, she says she couldn't keep the secret any longer.
And then finally I was like, I got this. And then I don't really remember what I said before, but I knew I turned to my dad and I was like, I know where Aliayah is. And I was like, well, now we got here. There's no turning back.
She was finally free.
That was the hardest part, I think, just starting.
The start of more than 5 years of secrets and lies falling apart for Lena Lunsford. Destiny could remember in detail what happened to her baby sister.
I was doing something in a different room and I heard commotion, so I ran to see what was going on. And I did witness our mom take a board to her head and she fell.
Destiny says Aliayah was always treated differently than the others. Harsher punishments, sometimes forced to drink salt water and deprived of food and even clothes and blankets to sleep in.
When she did go to bed, she wasn't allowed to wear any clothes and her beds were stripped full of sheets, and so it had the regular plastic bed. And she went to sleep, and we felt her head before she went to sleep, and it was squishy like I had said, and she said that her head hurt really bad.
The next morning, Aliayah was dead as Lena frantically tried to revive her but refused to call 911.
And when nothing really worked, we went and we took Aliayah out to Vegas in a hamper, and we left her there.
As Destiny told her story to police, she was able to point out that board Lena hit Aliayah in the head with, and even the hamper she used to carry her daughter's body into the woods. The timeline police desperately tried to piece together for years, now falling into place as Lena made that now infamous 911 call that her daughter was gone.
911, where's your emergency? My baby's missing. She started cleaning up around the areas and everything, and we called the police and we got her story straight and everything.
But her older sister Kiara, who was 11 at the time, didn't know yet that she had confessed.
We just were all hiding, lies and doing a cover-up for one evil person.
Law enforcement came up with a plan to bug the Coles' home in hopes that Destiny could get Kiara to tell her story too. Then, just minutes before time ran out on the operation,
Craig said, "They're talking. It's happening." And I just burst into tears. I was like, only God in that third hour of that bug could make a conversation happen that had not happened in 5 years ever.
Lena was arrested soon after. The trial, more than a year later, was the first time the girls would face their mother in years. Is there anything that you would say to your mom now if you had the chance?
Oh, wow.
Taken back at first, it's not something she's dwelled on.
I don't know if I would definitely say it to her, but I would definitely say I'm sorry that I didn't do it sooner and told the truth sooner.
She knows that without Aliayah, she wouldn't be where she is today, with a family that protects her and supports her. Looking forward to the day they meet again.
I see the age-progressed photos, and she looks very pretty, and in heaven one day I'm going to see her, and it's going to be nice.
The Cole family has set up a memorial scholarship in Aliayah's name, and they are also purchasing a headstone for her so that they all have a place to go and remember her. Now, we have much more from this interview on our website, WCHSTV.com. Reporting live in the studio, Leslie Rubin, Eyewitness News.
Lewis County, West Virginia, years of turmoil over the case of a missing 3-year-old has come to an end as Lena Lunsford is sentenced for the murder of her daughter. It is the first time Lunsford has said a word since her arrest for the murder of Aliayah. Sitting in the gallery, Aliayah's sister, who was really the break in the case that investigators had searched for years. Eyewitness News reporter Leslie Rubin takes us inside the hearing.
Lena will never be able to do harm to another child again.
For years, Craig Cole has had one concern.
Just keep the girls safe.
He adopted 5 of Lena Lunsford's children. 2 of them, Kiara and Destiny, were the ones who came forward after years of keeping a dark secret for their mother.
I'm sorry that I didn't do it sooner and told the truth sooner.
Destiny shared her story exclusively with Eyewitness News in May. She was 9 when she watched her mother hit Aliayah in the head so hard she was dead the next morning. She remembers watching her carry her sister's body into the woods in a laundry basket.
Serve life without mercy.
But today, Lunsford's fate was sealed as Judge Jake Rieger sentenced her to life with no chance of parole for the murder. On top of that, she faces decades more on various other charges, including concealment of a dead body. But Lunsford remains adamant she's innocent.
With all due respect, I feel that there was no possible way that I could get a fair trial in Lewis County. Hopefully, soon I'll be given a new trial somewhere else where they will base their decision on the facts of the case.
I think it just shows who she really is. She doesn't want to take accountability for her actions.
A case closed with one thing still missing. Her daughter's body has never been found. In Weston, Leslie Rubin, Eyewitness News.
Lunsford's attorneys plan to appeal her conviction before the West Virginia Supreme Court.